Is voice work similar to therapy? No. Simple answer. But voice work isn't therapy, but it can release emotions. And today I'm going to talk a little bit about the sort of value, I suppose, of voice work releasing emotions, why it's not therapy, and indeed shouldn't be really. Well, with one exception, and what to do if you kind of release emotions in voice unexpectedly. So if you don't know me, I'm Alex. I'm a voice coach. I'm a bit wired today. I just went out into the cold, went for a long walk, and was dealing with a very big emotion. But before I go into that, if you're interested in voice, subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell icon. Right, that's all you need to know. So first, my story today. So today I'm a bit wired. I'm a bit wired because I suddenly sort of remembered that in 2 weeks I'm going to have to move country again. I'm a digital nomad at the moment, and I think my system, this brain body, wasn't quite ready for it. It is suddenly like, how dare you? I'm not ready to move. And so today I've been dealing with this sort of feeling of here, which is my system kind of realizing that I'm going to have to go into travel mode and things like that, and also go back to family for Christmas, which of course, as we all know, can be a little bit stressful. So we've got all of that going on, and there's a lot of energy, which can happen when you're dealing with voice. Which is to say that, see, on particular days, you will turn up in your life, you will use your voice in a particular way, and if you're, I'm going to put this in the right sort of words, if you're well sort of oiled, which is to say, if you've not got masses of like tension holding yourself back, then the energy that emotion provides can go directly into the voice. And indeed, that's what good performers and actors do very well, is that the emotion, that maybe they're not feeling the emotion themselves as actors, but the emotion that they let out, that they channel through the text or whatever it is that they're presenting, is allowed to sound and be emotional with that energy, because we're not kind of holding back. Whereas what we have a tendency to do is we have a tendency to just sort of feel things and then kind of push them down, and then push the voice down as well, and then we don't actually kind of, maybe anger comes out like that or something, and we don't actually fully let it out. So that's a thing that can happen. This is as unstructured as all of these videos are, but I'm not editing, so we're going to move on. But we're going to move on as, well, what I was talking about there was kind of voice as a springboard for emotion, you know. Voice work can kind of allow us to explore our emotions by allowing, for the first time sometimes for people, the kind of physical showing of that emotion to come out in the voice. And indeed, when I teach emotion as part of voice training, we kind of, we do exercises for that, like what are the sounds of emotions, and playing with the kind of cadence of your voice, and the prosody and the music of your voice, and the breathing, all of which kind of change with emotion. So fear, for example, the breathing pattern's a little like that, whereas kind of depression or sadness might be so different breathing patterns. So you can kind of play with those, but as a result, your body, which is sort of wired to feel emotion, when you're doing those type of exercises, the emotion itself can kind of come out sometimes, and it's not unheard of for people to sort of do voice exercises and then find themselves crying suddenly because they've released some tension that they've never released in their whole life, and then suddenly it comes out, and that's very welcome. And it's a very welcome part of voice work, even though it is not therapy. So, moving to the second point, why is it not therapy? Why is voice work not therapy? Well, I mean, firstly, and very sort of simply, because, voice coaches tend not to be licensed therapists. I ain't a licensed therapist, so I am not, I'm not providing a space where people can kind of work through their problems or whatever. But I do try and create a space, and I do like have training and things in like creating spaces where where we have a safe space to feel emotions, but not, we don't necessarily sort of break in and get under the hood and go, so what happened in your childhood to deal with that, because that's not the job. I will say that there is one exception to this, or probably more, but at least one that I know of, which is that there is a type of voice coaching which is, I can't remember exactly the exact name, should have looked it up. It's like vocal psychotherapy or psychotherapy through voice or something, which is specifically using voice exercises as part of the psychotherapy process. A bit like drama therapy is using the drama exercises through the for therapeutic reasons. But you go to an acting class and it's not the drama things are not for a therapeutic purpose. So I'm speaking all over the place today. Anyway, that's all the energy I've got. You're getting it all. And yes, so if you're doing it, if you're with a trained therapist for that reason, then that's voice psychotherapy or whatever it's called. But for anyone else, if you're doing voice exercises, like, things can come up, but like, the purpose is not to kind of address those things psychotherapeutically, but rather just sort of go, okay, this emotion, this thing came up. Let's kind of notice what happens in the body and things, and deal with it, and kind of come back to that, and learn to kind of regulate it through breathing, for voice purposes. So that's why it's not therapy. There was that's a release. Yes, one thing that's particularly useful, I think, voice, and I certainly find, is allowing yourself to kind of express emotion can give a good amount of release. So today, parts of me have been sort of like about the fact that I have to go into travel mode soon, and it's not ready for it because it's the winter and I just want to wrap up in a duvet and watch TV, but I can't, because I'm a digital nomad and I need to go and move. So I like allowing myself to release this energy through singing, through through throwing it all at you in this TV screen, in this video. This is a certain amount of, like, doing breathing exercises as well. I've been doing those. Doing a bit of dance. These are all things that come under the heading of voice sometimes. So, or in some settings, that sort of allows the body to kind of go, okay, fine, I'm allowed to feel this feeling, and that gives a certain level of catharsis, that otherwise we just sort of keep it in our head, and not kind of shake it out through the body. So that's why voice can be a good release. And finally, one useful thing: what do you do when emotion comes up in voice work? Now, let's imagine that you're doing some voice exercises on your own. So if you're with a good voice coach or whatever, then you should be able to, they should be able to hold that space. It depends on the person. I put a lot of focus in my work on kind of allowing that, and providing kind of presence in the space of emotion coming out. If someone bursts into tears, then we'll just sit with that, and it's accepted, and we'll breathe and check in with what they need, and we'll just kind of go, okay, we'll hold that, which is what I do as a clown as well. I do just kind of talk about sort of neurodivergence and stuff, so some stuff can come up in the room where people are sort of feeling things, and that's okay. Just hold space for that. But if you're on your own and you're doing some voice work and you're feeling some stuff going on, I would say, personally, and I'll do it right now and you'll see it, because I'm totally wired right now, I would say it's just stop and breathe for a little bit. And wow, I mean, you stood that for some minutes and go, oh, okay, where am I kind of feeling that? It's going up here. Still sort of feeling it inside. It's kind of energy that I've got today. Breathe out. Roll your shoulders back. Let your knees be easy. Take a stretch. Yawn. Roll your shoulders back up, round and down. And just stop for a moment and kind of notice the imprint of that emotion that's come up in the body. And just let it be. And then if it wants to go back into full mode, then you can go back into full energy mode. It's absolutely fine. But whenever whenever an emotion rises, I would say take a moment, just for a moment, to just let the body kind of eat that emotion, consume it, go through it, pass through it a little bit, shake it out, That is all. That is everything. That's about emotion. It was all over the place because I'm all over the place today. And rather than just kind of prepare myself before the video as I would otherwise, because it was about emotion, I thought, let's just deliver it like that. Anyway, this was bloody long. Stop doing what you're doing. Go and hit the subscribe bubble, hit the bubble, hit the button, the bell, the like button, follow me on social media, do whatever the hell you want. Breathe out and have a lovely day.